running down the street, driving as fast as we can, and certainly as fast as I can to try to get here this evening. Sorry, we're just a few minutes late, but just too many things to do, too many things happening. If you were looking for the weekly broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights, you've been successful, and you have found, at least me, Marion is still on her way. This is the greatest radio station in the nation, and you already know what it is. Um, Call-in numbers are 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, and 868-4336. If you want to call us, we have a couple of things that we want to raise this evening and see what you think about the points of view. And if you're on the website, you can go to www.tv33whpr.com. And of course, you are watching TV 33, WHPR, or if you're in Detroit, that's channel 91. And that's if you pay your cable bill. If you don't, you can turn to channel 90, and it'll come on there sometimes as well. My name is Maureen Taylor, and I work with the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization. And as I wait to see if Marion is going to be able to get here this evening, let me share a few pieces of information. Some of you may have seen a news story that came out today that said that the lawsuit that my school, Detroit Community School, and I don't want to call her former, but I'll call her exile Superintendent Sharon McPhail. The lawsuit was dropped today, and this is the lawsuit that the state of Michigan had against our school and had against Madam Superintendent. They got tired, and we would not give up, so they said, "The heck with this." And the other party in this lawsuit is Bay Mills Community College. I'm not quite sure how that part worked out and where they are in this crisis, in this calamity that's going on. But that was the news today. We are hopeful that something positive will come out of this long, long stretch of battle that we've been involved in to try to solidify the wonderful academic and non-academic things that have been happening to our students. And oh, Mr. Engineer, I knew it was something that wasn't on this table, and now I just figured out what it was. Okay. Yes, I forgot too. So hopefully something positive will be coming out of these court cases and whatnot that we've been involved in for several weeks, for several months. Thank you, sir. And we want you to stay tuned. Now, in the meanwhile, let me just bring you up to date on what the heck has been going on at Detroit Community Schools. When you go from a minus 35 degrees during the polar vortex, 2-3 days in that, and then you go up to 0 and on to 55 degrees, that means we have looked at an 80 to 90% change in temperature. And a number of schools, not just mine, but a number of schools have suffered structural damages because of what has happened here. Pipes burst in my school, windows shattered that were at the top, snow that was on the roof and ice fell down into the windows that were now broken, glass all over the place, water came down all of the columns, all of the walls. Water was as high as this table is. And if you've ever been in the great studio here, you know we're looking at a yardstick. So we're talking a couple of feet of water and more. So it's hazmat teams are there. What do they call it? Lead remediation teams are there. Dust and, the restoration teams, when there's a fire at a house or at a structure, and they send those restoration teams in there to get that water up, and then that means dust and mold and asphalt and asbestos and whatever else has now been exposed. So we've got about 4 or 5 semi trucks there, and it's got to be at least 50 people working. Could be more, because we're not even allowed to go into the high school part of the building. So K through 8 in the modules in the back. They're in good shape. No damage there. They're smaller and not much damage, if any, there. But the high school side that was brick and mortar, just upwards of $90,000 worth of damage. And again, we're not alone. You know, a lot of schools, you see them every day. This school is still closed because of building problems and whatnot. So this last 2 weeks have been quite a struggle. What happened is that the Kadesh, Kadesh Church on Plymouth, right there between Burt Road and Evergreen, contacted the school and said, we are aware of your problems. Some of the other folks, Larry Simmons, Reverend Simmons, and some other people have been calling around, and we had been looking for another place to hold classes. And the church stepped up. I mean, this is a wonderful thing, a wonderful story. The Kadesh Baptist Church, Plymouth, between Burke Road and Evergreen, stepped up, contacted the school, and said, we've got 5 or 6 classrooms in one of our buildings. You can use that, and we have a large lobby area off the kitchen area, and you can use that. And they invited maintenance staff and some of the carpenters that work in and out of my building to come over and build some cubicles in that larger area. So we've got 300-400 kids, high school kids. 9th and 10th started last Thursday and Friday. 11th and 12th graders came Monday of this week that just passed. And you know we already had one day where we couldn't come to school. But boy, we are working under some difficult and challenging conditions. Bringing more chairs from the unfinished side of Detroit Community School over to the church so we would have enough chairs. Then we had to come and transfer tables and whatnot, bring some more tables. And where are the pencils? Okay. Where are the erasers? Okay. Where are the pencil sharpeners? Okay. Where are the ink pens? Okay. Where's the paper? Okay. All of this, we've had to restructure just some of everything to try to get started in a way to continue the education of these children so we didn't miss too many days. So the educational staff is just top notch, just really working. Miss Kirkland and Miss Oliver and Mr. Mathis and Mr. Holmes and everybody, Miss Whitehead, Mr. Gavin, Mr. Buckley, just so many people are doing well. And we've had to bring in a couple of substitutes because it's hard to keep qualified teachers on board. So we brought some substitutes in, and they are doing a yeoman's job, a yeowoman's job in terms of what's going on. Miss Conway, certainly Miss Gibson. We've got a new counselor, Miss Slaughter, and Miss Jordan, Principal Jordan. I didn't know that girl could juggle like that. Miss Sink Bell, all of the folks, Miss Williams, pupil accounting, everybody is over there at this church. And we put tables over here and chairs over there and cubicles to the left side and cubicles to the right side. And Officer Williams is there and T-Walk is there and Coach Washington is there. I mean, this is Officer James and Chief Riley. There is an entire contingent of adults that are on site every day. Miss Lou. We had to bring Miss Lou in. Miss Lou is, I think she keeps thinking about retirement, but she can't retire because she's not sick. And I don't care how old she is, Miss Lou has got to keep on working. All of those good things were happening, and every day teaching staff would come in with pencils and a box of paper and pencil sharpeners and all the things because we had nothing. Our entire high school building was practically destroyed. So Mr. Hill and Mr. Morris and a couple other folks who are part of our maintenance team and the after school maintenance team have been in and around the building all day, bringing things in, fixing things, bringing things in, repairing things, bringing things in. And it's just something to see. People have no idea. It was already difficult and maybe even strenuous to deal with these children, the urban experience, when we were all at the same building. But now, to move that entire operation over to the church and make it work, Miss Jordan, whew, doing an outstanding job. Outstanding job. Now, we had a Miss Godfrey who was a temporary superintendent that was placed at the school while this court case had been going on. And she was really working, trying to get herself up to speed. She's only been there a couple, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. And this crisis happened, and all of us had to move over. So everybody's working. Now, I want to say something about some students. Today we had a Black History event at the school. And all of this crisis situation and confusion and not enough chairs and, all this kind of stuff going on. We got 5, 6, 7, 8 new students that came in today. And they're from the E-course area where their schools had closed. I think they're in the 9th grade and the 10th grade. And, of course, they're new. So they kind of bonded together a little bit. They all knew each other. And they came today, and I made it my business to go to each one of those new students and ask their name and shake their hand and tell them how welcome they were at Detroit Community Schools, even though right now we have a school in church. But they were so very welcome. And during the Black History event, we made mention of that and commented on, making certain that other students knew they should make it their business to welcome these new students to our school. Because just imagine, this is February the 15th, Black History Month. Here they had to transfer because their schools closed. And here we are at having church and school in the same place. So I know this was very, very strenuous and whatnot and very difficult. Mr. Engineer, that might be Marion ringing at the doorbell. Nobody's answering. So all of that was going on. And I wanted to mention that these young men were there and how welcome we all are. And we all will be that they were there with us. Okay. In some kind of way, we'll find a way to make them fit in. Mr. Engineer, that might be Marion ringing the doorbell and nobody's ringing. Well, we just making it happen today, ain't we? All right. All right. So the other thing is we had Miss Conway made a presentation. Miss Whitehead made a presentation today. And Mr. Joy, I forgot to mention his name. Mr. Joy is from Ghana, and he is our art teacher. And he brought musical instruments, conga drums today. He was dressed in full African garb and gave a little bit of history about the importance of Ghana on the world scene. He was terrific. But I want to say something about service. We have a student, I'll just call his first name. His name is Chris. And I had purchased a few items for the Black History giveaways, some cookies and some candy and that kind of thing. And I was in the hallway, and I mentioned it to him yesterday. And I asked him if he would be able to maybe help me today. And he's one of the young men who has been my aide, a student aide for the last 2-3 years now, and he's a senior. I'll be so, my heart will hurt when he leaves. Boy, that young man, when I saw him today, he was waiting for me. And what he told me is, Miss Taylor, don't you still need me to help you today? And I told him I absolutely do. And he helped. Another one of my aides, Mr. DeAndre, he found me. And or did I find him? Yeah, I found him. And I always do the same thing. I just put my finger up and I just do this. And they look at me and they know what that means. So here he comes. And he came to the room to give me some assistance. And I recruited a new young man today who I've only seen him. I think he's a transfer. as of September or something. And I brought him and asked him if he would be able to help me, and he said yes. His name is Mr. Wright. And then one of my favorite students, and her last name is Henderson. And I asked her, I didn't ask her, I just pointed at her and did my come here finger. And she came right on. So I had those four students back there, and they helped me to pack plastic bags and cookies. And we had enough for 700 students. And say hello first. Okay, oh, not yet, not yet. So I wanted to call out those particular students. I'm going to write them up for community service hours, but they were absolutely uh, uh, able to donate and wanted to contribute to what was happening today. And I wanted to give them a shout out on the air. Didn't have to say anything, but would you help me? And of course, they said yes. Caller, you are on the air. You are the first caller on the air this evening, and thank you for calling. Ask Welfare Rights.
How are you ladies doing?
We're fine.
Do you all have an echo from me?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Okay, this is two things I want to announce. Two jobs.
Okay.
First, I want to just say, Mrs. Kramer and Mrs. Taylor,
yes.
I've been calling in years on your show, giving out jobs.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to say this first. When I give these jobs out to these adults, and they go out there, and I'm getting feedback that they're getting the jobs from off your show, they get mad because they can't pass the drug test. Don't go submitting the application if you know you got drugs in your system.
Now, you know, we have been talking about this for a long time, and you can't tell that the folks that may be going to jobs that you have revealed, you don't know where those people are coming from, because they may have heard it on this show, but they might have told somebody else. But caller, you know, before marijuana was declared legal, didn't we say if this happens, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to start an argument about I can smoke marijuana because it's legal now, and they're going to be in a category called chronically unemployed.
Exactly.
So you know how long we've been telling folks that, and now here we go.
And with that being said, now hear me again, people, our audience. Do not, because I'm going to continue on calling, and I'm going to keep giving out jobs, because I know some people need jobs. With that being said, do not go, and when they ask when you found information out, don't put Michigan Welfare Rights, because there's a young lady called, because I'm going to keep on calling. But with that being said, Mrs. Kramer and Ms. Taylor.
Yes.
When I told you all last month that DMC was hiking, they had a slew of people came through that they pulled off the internet when they posted their jobs. Do you know only 2 out of 98 people was able to get a job?
You know, I'm gonna sing you that James Brown song that I used to sing to you a long time ago. Remember? Welcome to America. Okay. Ain't nothing to be done. Just keep those job openings coming. Keep on calling them in. And maybe only 2 out of 90 this time. Maybe 8 out of 90 the next time. And maybe 10 out of 90 the next time. We can't. It ain't our fault.
I mean, I know it's not. And
I know.
And the last one, the city of Southfield is hiring. And that would be Tuesday, February 19th. So let me give out the jobs that they'll be hiring for.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is general employment positions.
General employment. Okay.
Yeah, which would be building inspectors. Building inspectors. Hello? Can you all hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Building inspector, planning, recruiters, building inspectors, specialists, and then the next one is public safety positions, which you have to be certified. So if people don't know what that means, some people don't know. So we got to break it down. You have to go to class and get a certification for this particular job. Okay, certification would be the police officers, 911 dispatchers, public police cadets. My computer just hold on, just shut off. Okay, okay. Then the next is pre service police officers with the 911 emergency. That's what that is. And then the last and not which you can't get this one. Okay, this is called the non-career seasonal positions, which is crossing guards.
Crossing guards. Okay.
Yes, Department of Public Works
Mm-hmm.
for seasonal help, and that would start from April to November.
Oh, that's right away.
So
Yeah.
they need to get on that right now. And then the next one is Parks and Recreation seasonal help, and that's the same thing. So with that being said, I'm going to be calling.
Okay.
Every week.
Did you have a phone number or it's a website?
No, they have in their
It's a job fair.
It's a job fair.
Job fair.
Sorry. It's
Okay.
going to be at 26. Let me pull it back up. 26,000 Evergreen Road at the Southfield
26000.
Pavilion
Evergreen.
from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This Tuesday, February 19th,
And tell me again, what are the hours?
from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay. Okay.
So-
Job fair, Southfield Pavilion, 26000 Evergreen.
Road.
That's right there near 11 Mile Road. If you go too far, you're going to the Empress Garden Chinese food. Don't stop there because the food is delicious. If you go in there, you'll never come back out again. So
What and what's the 10 a.m. to what?
10 to 3,
10 to 3.
and it's a job fair. Okay.
So I will be calling from this point on every week, and I'm going to tell every city that would be hiring.
Caller, the next time we talk, would you look and see if there's space still left for the City of Detroit Youth Department employment jobs? You know what I'm talking about.
That part, Mayor Duggan took over that one.
Yeah, but I heard that they were hiring 30,000 young people.
Oh, every year, right?
Yeah, okay, so I don't know if that application process is closed yet because they close so quick. By the time you hear about it, within 2 or 3 days, it's closed. So just if you hear something.
Okay, well, what I'll do, and I'll call Lorraine, Miss Cramier,
Okay,
and I'll let her know. Okay?
and thank you so very much.
You are so welcome.
All right, thank
Bye-bye.
you now. Caller, you are on the air. You have been patient. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights.
Yes, good evening.
And good evening, sir.
That last question you asked, I believe it's still open for youth, for the summer youth program.
The summer youth program, yeah.
I heard him talking about that. Now, what I called about is, got what it was. But anyway, I know tomorrow at Mumford High School and both Northwestern and some other school where they're having this high school situation up on TV, it's on the news, where they you can go there, have teachers and technology and whatever. I usually write stuff down. Anyway,
I saw some of that.
yeah, that's all they borrowed from. I think from.
Okay, now is that where Wayne County Community College is going to be at all of those high schools?
I don't know, but it's the Detroit Public Schools Community District something.
Yeah.
And anyway, all high school people, they're going to be at Northwestern High School and Mumford and some other collegiate somewhere. I forget where it is.
Okay. Okay.
Now, one more.
Go ahead.
Now, I have to put this out there. When they're talking about that picture where that governor up painting their face black and all like that, I don't think any of them need to step down. Things going good. In fact, if they're going to impeach the black, the lieutenant of white, impeach the white one. But now then, in my mind, what about in the churches? Where when they give these concerts and different ones, they got the people, the white people, the black people painting their face white. Now, what's that about?
Yeah, yeah. This country is uncomfortable about the truth and the history of race. But
Right.
it looks like it doesn't matter because all the people that are involved in controversy in Virginia, none of them
Hmm.
are stepping down. So
I don't blame
So
them.
they
They
all
can,
saying, nope, I'm not going because I'm not guilty. Every one of them.
yeah,
mhm.
and if things going good, then like my look at it, I do my survey on it. If everything's going good, leave it alone. You know, we all did. I mean, we were teenagers, but that man that was in medical school working the governor, I have different. He needs to step down or something. But the black dude needs to stay right standing ground. But to answer that question I asked, what in these churches where they paint their faces white now, dancing, what's that about? That's
Mm.
not a very bad.
Now, Dave Chappelle, my kid told me that Dave Chappelle, the comic, had a whole skit that he did about putting white stuff on his face and talking and acting like a stereotypical white man. And
Yeah,
so, that's part of the history of this country, making fun of other
Mhm.
people.
of each other.
Yep.
And that
So if
keeps
they
us
stop doing it,
divided
if
too.
they just saying about one, then they should raise saying about that too. Because I
Yes.
don't particularly like that
But
myself when I'm
can
in
I
the
get
church.
in here?
I hear you.
One thing we have to understand, and I know that you and Maureen are old enough to understand this. You look like you sleep. And that is this country has always used certain tactics to keep us divided,
Right.
and we have to go beyond that, you know, because I noticed the like one of the second marches of Michigan Welfare Rights up to Lansing at one time. That these motorcycle clubs came in from Jackson, Michigan, and sat down with Welfare Rights and said, Mrs. Kramer, we want to know where you want us to start in this parade. And you know, all those folks were white.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to go beyond that and understand who the enemy is.
Right. And
Now,
one more thing I'm saying, then I'm hang up.
uh-huh.
Uh, I listened to the whole State of the Union from the new governor, and I support what she's doing. Of course, people complaining that she didn't talk about how they're going to be funded, but like she said, next month, I'll let them know. But
Yes.
she just got in there. We need to stop playing down each other. Democrats stay together and stop talking about the dress she had on because wasn't nothing wrong with that
That
dress.
ain't nothing
People
wrong with her dress.
they didn't say anything about Snyder coming
Somebody
everything.
said something about the
Step,
I,
step.
I
dress.
knew that was gonna do it. You know, do it every year.
Somebody talked about her clothes, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't talk about
Yeah,
Snyder.
how useless. Yeah.
They didn't talk about Snyder not having a tie on when
No,
there. And
that's
I'm talking about people like us, Democrats. We need to stick together, move on.
yeah,
And I'm
and we don't have to be stupid.
No, we
yeah,
do
How
not.
about
that's
that?
what
All right, caller.
but
All right, thank you so very much. Caller, you're on the air. Thank you for waiting and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. But just 1 second. Hello, honey. Hello, Navarre. Okay, caller, you're on the air.
Okay. Good evening, ladies. How are you?
I'm fine.
You know what? In terms of the job program through the city, it's called Grow Detroit's Young Talent, and
Yes,
the kids and the students
yes.
have to go online to fill out applications. You can go to this address, GDYT,
Hold
which
on,
is
hold on,
all
hold
right.
on.
Okay.
Grow Detroit. GD Youth.
No, GDYT,
Yeah,
which stands
YT.
for
Youth.
Grow Detroit's Young Talent.
Young Talent.
Yeah.
Okay,
.org.
okay.
Okay. .org.
.org.
I heard it
Thank
when
you so much.
they made the announcement. January 31st is when it opens.
Yeah, I
And
heard it.
and I heard them say it's going to close at midnight on March 15th.
Okay.
So, and let me
That's
comment
tomorrow.
about
March.
Governor Whitmer.
On March 16th.
You know what? These people are nothing but envious, they're jealous, and they're haters. Governor Whitmer gave a state of the state address. She didn't come there, she didn't walk down a runway, modeling
Oh,
clothes.
you talking about the governor?
Yes, ma'am. That's not what she was there. And I mean, these are some petty,
Yeah.
cheap, cheap people who want
Foolish.
to. And and Channel 2. I thought it was real disrespectful that they even, would give that some, some press because I mean, some of those folks they were wishing they would have Whitmer by their side, or for that matter, some of the women probably even, they're jealous because she's young, she's good looking, and I mean, the woman cannot help the way that God built her.
All of these comments about how people look,
Mm-hmm.
these are nothing but distractions.
Oh,
People
for sure.
making comments of, you ain't trying to date the woman. She has some comments to make. Let's go to the substance,
And
And
the
then
she
too,
did.
essence of what you talked about, and she did.
I even heard, people talking
Oh,
about,
foolishness.
they were complaining about what she talked about in terms of education and fixing the road, fixing the damn roads, mind you.
Yeah,
But they say she didn't say how much it was going to cost. She's got a budget hearing coming up, I believe March 5th.
that's
And
right.
she says that's when you'll get, the 411, as they say.
And
She said it several times.
Yep.
she offered to people, if you have a pothole problem in your neighborhood,
Right.
take a picture
Picture.
of it, send it to me, along with your recommendations on how to fix it.
Well,
And isn't that what we want?
exactly. And one more thing about that pothole thing, folks, if you hit something, especially if it's on a major street like
Yep.
6 Mile, 7 Mile, 8 Mile, those kinds of streets, Illinois and Wyoming.
West
I know,
Outer Drive.
yeah, well, and some of them are state roads and then part of it's city.
Yeah.
But you can go to get them fixed, you can call, I believe it's 1-800 Road Crew, and that's to the Wayne County, Road Commission.
And you know what? There's a
Mhm.
pizza place too. If you call the pizza place, they'll come out and fix the potholes because people were complaining. They get a pizza, put it on the back seat. They go into a pothole. The pizza falls on the floor in the car, and it's a pizza company that says, "Is it Pizza Hut? I think it's Pizza Hut.
Either
You
Domino's,
call
one
them
of the
too."
two. Yeah.
Caller, you're so wonderful, and thank you so very much for sharing that information about that road crew.
I'm
Okay.
Before we get off the air, I'm gonna tell a story about my pothole issue and what happened to my car.
I
Okay.
am so
Thank
glad
you,
you
caller. All right
brought
now.
that up because I know that was going to be one of the biggest issues, rather than listening to understanding why we in the situation we in now. Why do we have so many potholes?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
because the past governor and the governor before him. Let's go back
And
and
the rest of them.
the rest of them. If you examine the material that they give, who gets the contract, that
Yep.
the material that they use out there,
Mhm.
that material is not the kind of material you should be used on some of these roads.
Well, they
And
ought to get some kind of contract, from that, sign a contract with that contractor, okay, saying that, if it lasts 5, 6 years, okay, fine. But anything that happens in between there, you tear the whole thing up and you
start all
and
over.
fix it all over again.
Yes.
Because all this patching does is you put cold
Patching.
pack in there,
Mhm.
rain comes down, gets down in there, the freeze and thaw cycle, right?
Right.
And
Yep.
you got a bigger pothole.
That's right.
And that
Caller,
kind
you're
of thing.
observant, and we appreciate you. Okay.
You need to
Okay,
be
thanks
over
for
the road
thank-
All right.
department.
thanks for
Thank you
taking the
so
call.
much. All right. Caller, you on the air. We're down to our last 16 minutes. Caller, you on the air. Caller, you on the air. Thank you for your
Hello?
patience. You're on the air.
Okay. Did you cover the census? The census is hiring as well.
No. Do you have the details?
No, but you can call. You can look it up. Google the census jobs in Detroit. And they'll have the information.
I did see the notice. They've
Okay.
got census takers that are starting at $19 an hour.
Yes, yes.
I looked
So
at
you
that.
can look it up online and inquire about it. Also, I was listening to the council meetings, and there were organizations approaching the council. They have a housing trust fund worth $10 million that the council have not implemented since 2017, and it's a housing trust fund, and each city gets $10 million. So these organizations have been down there in their face asking them and pleading with them to implement this housing trust fund. I talked to one of Sheffield's one of her assistants, and he got on it right away to talk to her. And I just heard the other day, I think she did start the ball rolling to implement that housing trust fund. So we need to definitely, check on it as well, so that these people can afford. It helps for affordable housing.
I love it.
and
I think it's a good
and,
idea.
if you could let her know too, also is call for a hearing on that.
Okay,
Public hearing on that, and
okay,
and in fact, when are they going to start giving the money out for that? The other thing too, Maureen, in order for us to get some of these young people out here, the parents should all get together and call for a hearing on these youth jobs and where did the money go. You
okay.
know,
All
that's
right.
so we need to start challenging them, and if they can't come to a hearing, we need to go in front of their yards.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
caller. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right.
Bye.
Already, we're down to our last 11 minutes. Caller, thank you for your patience, and you are on the air.
Yes, I'm not watching you on TV about this,
No,
but
go ahead. Go ahead.
uh, Eric Debris, that situation with his family members buying him house, he knew about that. But, they're not doing that. Dave Lee sitting there on the city council embezzlement stuff, and he should be off that kind of sitting there. So, even though Eric Debris, he knew about the rules about family members, they about that houses like got more members. Now, also, I want to mention about yesterday when the man shot and killed one fellow. They robbed him inside his home, forced him in the house, and
Now,
he
now,
shot
caller, your
his
voice is going
Hey,
in and out.
can you hear me now better?
Oh, let's
Anyway,
try it again. Yeah.
yesterday where the young man on the west side here was shoveling the snow, and then two fellas walked up to him and put a gun to him, forced him in the house, and
I
he
heard
done
about
did his,
that.
and he shot and killed one of them. The other one got away with his car. They found his car later. But see, you can't go robbing nobody, forcing them in their house. So you come in my house and you didn't knock on the door and let you in get supper.
Caller, I'm going to tell you the 3 words that cover that. You never know.
You're right.
You never know. So, if you rob a guy that's out there or a girl that's out there shoveling their snow and you come up on them and want to try to break into their homes, you better check and see if they're carrying the CCW with
Right.
that snow shovel.
What they should have been doing is trying to ask them, do he need any help? And they shovel the snow, but they don't want to do that. They want to take from them.
They were just bad boys,
Well,
and,
one of
and,
them,
and asking them, do they want a couple of dollars for shoveling the snow? They would have said no. Those were thieves.
yeah, that's
Those are
all
just criminals.
Yeah.
See?
Okay,
Yeah.
then I'm going to hang up. Thank you.
All right now. Caller, you've been so patient. You are on the air.
Good evening.
And good evening.
I'm just here to just give a little bit more information regarding to the job fairs that's going on in the city
Yes.
and in the region. Where we have a job fair for the Wayne County Sheriff's Department
I saw
as
that
well
one.
as DPD.
I saw that one.
Yes,
Wayne
ma'am.
County Sheriff's and the
And the
Police
Detroit
Department.
Police Department and the Fire Department.
Now, I heard there were about 118 vacancies. Is that right? That many?
It's probably so.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Okay. And I want you to tell me the rest of it, but let me say this one thing. There
Mhm.
was a friendly fire police officer that got shot in New York last night before last, something like that. And a guy was in there with a fake gun at the telephone store in New York, and the two detectives went there, and they called for backup, and the backup came, and shots were fired. Now, the young man who was the robber had a plastic gun, so he wasn't shooting anybody. So about 40 or 50 shots rang out, and one of the detectives died. Horrible thing. But
Wow.
you know how many police officers there are in New York?
It's a lot.
36,000.
Mhm.
36,000 police officers. So Caller, go ahead and give us the rest of that information about openings that you heard about. Go ahead.
Okay, so the hold on, I'm looking at it at my from my Facebook page. Okay, so it's going to be Thursday, February 21st, 2019, from
Thursday
10
when?
a.m.
Wait a minute. Thursday when?
February 21st.
February. Thursday, February 21st.
Yes, ma'am. From 10 to 5,
10 to 5. And where's the location?
Northwest Activity Center.
Oh, Northwest Activity Center, Curtis and Myers.
Yes, ma'am. 18100 Myers Road.
Okay. All
And
right.
it is the Detroit Police and the Wayne County Sheriff's Office.
Very good. We need help.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
We
and we
need help.
need it to reflect our city.
Well, yeah, we need help, and we got to
Mhm.
find a way to get moms and dads, grandmas and granddads. We all going to have to be a little bit more vigilant in terms of what's
Also
going
for
on
the
in our
census
neighborhoods.
report too. I have the census information as well.
Oh, census information. Okay, where do people call, or what's the website?
Okay, the census website. Hold on one moment.
And for the
Um,
a
the
lady
census
called me and
website
asked
is
me,
www. Census
and census is not spelled SIN like
is
a sin. It's
CENSUS.
CENSUS.
Yes, ma'am. .gov.
Census.gov. GOV.
Now this is yes, GOV. And now this is for the region.
Region.
So I got this from a Chicago recruiter.
Yes, that's
So
right. Chicago is the
mhm.
headquarters for this area. That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the whole the whole thing.
Okay.
So it's www.
Mhm.
Dot CENSUS.
Mhm.
Dot GOV slash regions.
Region.
No, regions.
REGION.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Slash Chicago slash www slash job slash.
All right. Now, caller, you let me shorten some of that up too, because
Mhm.
all of the computer wizards, they wrote all that down what you just said. For the rest of us that might be computer challenged, we can
Mhm.
go in and write and put in on a computer www.census
Mhm.
CENSUS.gov
.gov. Yes.
/jobs and push enter.
Yes.
It will come up.
Yes,
It will
ma'am.
come up. Caller, you so wonderful. Thank you for sharing that information.
And thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And a good time. And thank you, caller.
Mm.
Okay, you do know that, let's see, they do the census every 10 years and every 5 years. So the next time this is coming up is 2020. So they've got to get started
Yep,
hiring
2020.
people right now. Yeah, they got to get trained. All right, so it's not a lot of time. Got to get this
Yep.
trained. Caller, you've been very patient. Thank you for waiting and thank you for calling. Ask Welfare Rights.
Yeah, I have the phone number for the census jobs for those who need more information.
Ready?
1-855
855
JOB
JOB
2020.
2020.
Yeah,
1
855
855 JOB like job 2020. Yeah,
And
that's
it's called, you can go to census.gov/field jobs.
yeah,
No,
but
no,
if you go to just slash
census.gov/field
jobs,
jobs.
yeah, it'll all come up. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Okay,
Okay. All
caller,
right.
thank you so very much.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, Marion, opportunities for employment. Young people need to get involved right away on this summer youth jobs, because I know the caller that helped us with that a little earlier said it's going to close March 15th, but I remember last year right around the end of February, they closed it because they had so many young people that filled out applications and they had more than enough.
And you cannot wait up until the day before.
You better do it. You better do it this weekend.
That's right.
And don't wait around. Marion, do you remember the rules about if a minor in your household and you receive welfare assistance? If there's a minor in your household that works, is that minor's income budgeted with cash assistance? I remember the rule because I had to look it up.
You had to look it up today,
Yeah,
huh?
I remember the rule. You remember?
Yeah, they're supposed to put it, let them know that they do have a minor in the household, but they make so little money. It doesn't.
Not
Some of
anymore.
them,
Yeah. But you
but
only have to budget it on food
on
stamps.
food, the new
Yeah,
thing,
the
the
new
new,
thing. Yeah,
the quote unquote
yeah.
new
It
thing.
becomes a budgetable issue in terms of how many food stamps the household gets.
Hmm.
If there's cash assistance already in the household
And
and the
they,
mom or the dad is getting some cash assistance, the income for the minor is excluded. Only food stamps are counted. So they can't throw the household off of cash assistance because Johnny Boy got a job.
the other thing, Maureen, I'd say this: there was a judge here. His name was Scott, Judge Scott. Did
SKUTT.
And he was one of the people that fought for us to be able to have a decent full food stamp. I know he turning over in his grave right now of all the work and time that he put in, and I know all us put in. And these suckers are dogging these programs because they don't need them no more to be able to make a profit. They making profits because
They've
they
made
still
their profit.
they still sit down. I mean, stealing from us, and yet people say, "Well, they had to do that to have." I don't come telling me nothing no more. And when we sit in that office and we tell you what the rules and regulation is and how to deal with the situation, if you don't come to our office no more, if you're gonna sit up there and tell me, well, the worker said, I won't hear what the darn worker said.
We have 1 minute. Marion, you have 1 minute to say good night.
I think that was it. Good night, and I hope to see you again next Friday.
All right. Tomorrow we're going to say goodbye to a welfare rights member, Helen Stanley Coleman. Passed away, and we're going to make certain that she travels with all of us and send her away with our best wishes. And then I want to say, Marion, we in some trouble in America,
Oh, yes, we
and
are.
all we can say is that you better wake up because these folks are playing hardball. They're not fooling around.
They're going to come
Now,
on one day, and that little rocking chair they might have at home is gone.
well, now the last thing I'll say is you folks that are driving up and down the service drive on the lodge, especially in those turnaround areas, Marion, there are bumpers all over the service drives. You SUV drivers, you all need to slow down because there are bumpers on both sides of the lodge service drive. I know that because I'm scared to get down on the freeway. But slow down, put those cigarettes out, and maybe next week we can talk a little bit more about People United as One apartment complex at 644 Martin Luther King Boulevard has 1 and 2 bedroom apartments available. It's down in the Cass Corridor area that's being retrofitted for rich and middle class. We're the only ones left out in there, and the apartments are subsidized.
Didn't
So,
we say that?
yeah, here we go. So they have some, but there's a waiting list. I forgot to get the number. But People United as One, 644 Martin Luther King Boulevard. Look it up. If you want a 1 and 2 bedroom apartment, we have chandeliers in our apartments, recessed lighting, 2-inch carpeting, brand new stove and refrigerator. We're
We
proud of
watched that one be
the
built.
organization that helped to build that. So our stuff ain't slacking.
Ex-homeless people.
All right. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. What Marion said, we will be back next Friday. Everybody be very careful. It is so slippery And I almost fell walking in here today because there's a little piece of ice right by that door. Boy. All right, Junior took care of it. Junior to the rescue. Goodbye.